Hey everyone, it's Keith. Welcome to my channel. I hope that you are having a good weekend. Let's talk about the new Disney science fiction film, A Wrinkle in Time. A Wrinkle in Time is directed by Ava DuVernay and is based on the classic children's book by Madeleine L'Engle, and it stars Storm Reid, Oprah Winfrey, and Chris Pine. It's about a young girl named Meg Murray whose scientist father has gone missing several years before, and she believes that he is still out there somewhere, lost, and he hasn't just run off or died somewhere. She meets three intergalactic entities that take her across the universe in an attempt to find him. Now, when I review movies, I like to first talk about what I liked about it, and then what I didn't, and then give my kind of overall opinion and its final score. So, the good first. It's under 2 hours? Honestly, I spent all day trying to think of something nice to say about this movie, and that was all I came up with. Most of my review is going to be focusing on the bad. So, let's get into it. Now, there are many aspects of a movie, and to making a movie. There are just so many hands that touch a movie before it goes out to be viewed. And that's from the pre-production phase of it, which you would call, the script writing and the casting and the hiring of all the crew and everything, to the production, which is where the direction and cinematography and the acting are kind of the main focus. And then the post-production, where the visual and sound effects are done and the editing and all of that is, finalized, and then it goes out to be viewed. So if you made a list of all the various aspects of movie making, I would go down that list one by one and just go bad, 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 all the way down. There's really not a lot to like here. Now, I suppose this movie's problems begin with its story. I never read the book that it's based on, but it being a classic, I have to assume that it's better than how this movie presents it. Its themes are heavy-handed. You can see the skeleton of the three-act structure, but nothing organically rolls into what happens next. It all just feels very unnatural, and that isn't helped, unfortunately, by the acting. Thankfully, the main character in this movie, played by Storm Reid, is passable. Is it a star-making role? No, I don't think so. But she does a fine job with what she's given. Then there's a supporting cast, and that's where we get into the wide swath of quality. There's her parents, played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Chris Pine, and they give the most grounded, human, genuinely emotional performances in the movie. Unfortunately, they're barely in it. They really just kind of bookend the movie. And then there's the intergalactic entities I mentioned earlier, the Misses, played by Oprah Winfrey, Reese Witherspoon, and Mindy Kaling. They're not very good or interesting. They never feel like real characters. They feel very alien. And I know they're aliens, but we never get to know them, and so we never care about them at all. And then we get into the bad. I don't feel great about saying this, but Meg's younger brother, Charles Wallace, is real not good. The actor's name is Derek McCabe, and the whole movie, I kept watching him thinking, is he a bad actor? I'm almost not sure. And then, towards the end of the movie, he starts behaving differently. And I was like, oh yeah, he's a real bad actor. He may be on the level of Jake Lloyd in the Star Wars prequels. Honestly, let that sink in for a moment. And, like I said, I feel kind of bad about putting that on the kid, but there's no getting around that he real bad. The special effects in this movie are terrible. There's an over-reliance on green screen, And it never looks like anything more than people running around on green screen. How are we still putting people on cartoon worlds like it's 2002? I don't understand how Disney put this movie out and feels any less than embarrassed by how bad the special effects are in this. There's a part in the movie where the main kids ride around on this like leaf creature that's sort of akin to the Neverending Story dog, and there's just no texture to that leaf creature. It's just beyond awful. Now you might notice that neither in my good or bad section did I mention Ava DuVernay's direction. And that's because you don't get a great sense of it here. How she works with actors, I'd have to say maybe not all that well considering the performances that are turned in here for the most part. There is a section in the middle of the movie where the main character Meg is presented with kind of all of the evils that happen in the world, and we see a little montage of bad things happening to people. You kind of get a sense that, oh, maybe she does have a good eye. That sequence is about a minute long. So I can't really comment on how good of a director I think she is. I haven't seen Selma or The 13th. I've been meaning to watch both of those, but I just never have. Overall, A Wrinkle in Time is an amazingly bad movie. It might be the worst big-budget science fiction movie that I've seen since The Chronicles of Riddick. Again, just think about that. And honestly, I wish that weren't the case. We as audiences, of course, deserve better. These filmmakers deserve better. The actors, everybody. A Wrinkle in Time gets a 2 out of 10. Now that's the lowest rated review that I've ever put up on my channel. And I imagine that it'll actually hold that record for a while, if only because I try not to see bad movies. It's why I didn't go see the Death Wish remake last week. I could just kind of tell that movie's gonna suck. And so maybe someday I'll review something else that's a 2 or even a 1 out of 10. Honestly, I hope not, because I don't want to waste my time. But I hope that you've enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And I hope that I see you next time for another movie review. Bye-bye.